I've been studying in more depth sort of the notion of sacred feminine and masculine, and how in today's society they appear to be imbalanced for whatever reason. I don't know if this is something that anyone else has looked at, but the idea is that for many, many decades, centuries now, the sacred feminine part of our nature, the nurturing, caring, natural part of the nature, has been quashed somewhat. The sacred masculine, which is something you hear less about, the kind of left-brained, logical, aggressive part of the human nature, has kind of become imbalanced itself in the respect that it is far greater than it should be. And I think I've worked out that a revolution in consciousness would mean that both those things, the masculine and the feminine, would come into balance a bit more in everyone. Because I'm quite into the idea of the left brain and right brain and what they do. And I know it's a bit new age, and it is a bit new age bullshit, but it's hard to come up with different ways of saying it. And it kind of makes sense. It's the masculine and feminine side, gender within us all. And it's all very well being kind of illogical and kind of whimsical and spiritual. Not spiritual, but religious in whatever way possible. And I don't just mean the mainstream religion, but I mean a lot of new age thought as well. And it's all very well being, you know, straight down the line and active and aggressive and logical, and but if you have one in more abundance than the other one, it's an imbalance. And I think, from what I can work out, society, well, most people, if not all people in today's world, are imbalanced one way or the other. So it's about bringing the two together, bridging the gap again. That's basically what I've been thinking about lately.
Well, can I say a masculine thing now in response to that?
Yeah.
This is a masculine thing, right? What you just said takes two labels that are very generic and applies them in a very generic way. And that leaves a lot of scope for interpretation of what you just said. So
M is about to pick it apart at this point.
I can't pick it apart because there's nothing to pick apart. That's kind of my point. Let's actually take an example. Can we think of an example of what we mean by this to put it into an actual context?
Yeah,
rather
sure.
than just sort of labelling things. So, I don't know, problem solving, I suppose, is always a good example.
Would probably be quite a masculine thing.
And problem avoiding?
No, I don't think that really is. Well, it's still, I mean, what sort of problem are you talking about?
Don't make yourself a problem, then you won't have to solve it. Any kind of problem like that. Like, I don't know, don't buy an expensive car, then you don't have to worry about it.
Well, that's probably quite masculine as well. It's very logical. I got to thinking...
What would be the feminine kind of approach to that?
The feminine kind of approach, I guess, would be, what's the point?
What's the point in what?
Having a big flashy car.
Well, that's, yeah. Well, it agrees with the avoiding, you know, kind of mentality, isn't it? It's like, don't bother. It's not important.
Are you going to come up with anything better? Or is this the way this transmission's going to go forward?
Is this the feminine side that's talking to me?
No, this is the masculine side at the moment.
Well, I feel attacked now. I'm being feminine now.
So when I started to think about this, I've actually thought about mine
human relationships.
I actually thought about mine and M's relationship in a way, because M has always been kind of known to be quite logical and straight down the line and kind of scientific and, you know, all those kind of qualities. List writing. And I've always been the one that's definitely more whimsical, and I had a job in the care sector for many years, and it's kind of a lot more based on intuition and emotion. So although obviously the sacred feminine and masculine is not that straightforward, and the idea is both sides reside in everyone, but usually in people one side is stronger than the other. So it made me really think about M and my relationship, because that's definitely true, I think, when it comes to the two of us. It's not that the opposing sides aren't there in each of us. It's just that one's stronger than the other. So a concept such as this is going to pose him a problem because of the stronger side of his nature.
It's not a problem. I agree. I mean, I have my approach to meditation, for example, is to categorise things into polar opposites, which is exactly what you're talking about. You're saying, well, something has a quality of masculine and something else has a quality of feminine. And then you just take all loads of different stuff and you put it in one box or the other. Obviously, things are not quite that straightforward.
No, they're not. And I'm sorry if it came across that way.
Yeah, but
I was just trying to kind of get a little bit of a,
it's just the idea of, bifurcation, the idea of gender, the idea of polarisation, the idea of two opposing forces that complement one another.
What, like day and night?
Yeah, like all that.
Like hot and cold?
Yeah.
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 So what are you saying? That it's not there? That?
No, I'm saying it is there.
Good.
See, that's masculine again.
Yeah. I can be very masculine when I want to be, as you know.
I mean, I thought it was clear I was saying it was there. I mean, you can't deny these things, can you?
No.
Right, so I think maybe it's an aspect of human consciousness is that it differentiates. It attempts to take something which is probably a gradient, a flow, a continuum, yeah, and differentiate it into A or B, yeah, just to simplify matters, yeah. And that's called differentiation. It's something that's in our nature to do. And it's sort of, when you look at language especially differentiates things. And we're talking in language now. And
I think the point I was trying to make was that usually people are up one end or the other with it, though. It's actually very hard to kind of balance those two ends of the spectrum, if you know what I mean. It's
easier if you take out like specific examples of this, masculine and feminine.
But you asked me for a specific example.
No, what I mean is like, yeah, well, that was an example. Yeah, so it's easier to take an example or a type of masculine and feminine. Like, what is the feminine approach to relationships? What is the masculine approach to relationships? You know, it's easier when you start zeroing in on specific instances, and then you can say, well, no. Okay, if I want to be balanced, if I want to live a balanced life, I want to balance the two out, then it's easier to find a middle ground because it's clearer, you know. So I think the reason that people don't have a balance is because they haven't zeroed in on what the actual scale is that they're dealing with.
Or have any idea that there is a scale, in fact.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, if they thought there was a scale, then it would be easier for them to identify. Yeah.
But then it started to pose a problem for me because I thought of a kind of stereotypical, really religious person who you'd think would be on the kind of feminine side of things, very receptive. But then if they really are that believing of it all and someone questions that, then a masculine side comes out and they become very aggressive and very forceful in their view. So it's kind of a bit confusing, really.
Well,
that's basically where I've got to with it, this particular train of thought.
So take a highly religious person.
Yeah.
They might be receptive to other people, you know, quite welcoming towards other people, just as an example, but also quite defensive against...
But also they could attack.
Attack what?
A different belief system.
Yeah, okay, and attack a different belief system. So we're talking about how they relate to people and how they relate to beliefs. So these are two different scales, and they happen to be at the masculine end on one scale and at a feminine end on another scale. So it's just, you know, it's entirely possible, isn't it? But what you're saying is that balance is the right way forward for both scales.
Yeah.
So, you know, be welcoming to people, but be less welcoming.
No, I don't think I mean it like that. I just mean the way we view things.